Solid Gold Sunday with ONG on Kiss FM.
Where it's exactly 5 minutes past the hour of 11 o'clock, and as we've been promising you all week, literally just walked into the studio, is a young man who I'd like to tell you was an overnight success. And I think it took about 25 years, but let him tell us himself. It is indeed the hottest property he's been described as on the UK market scene at the moment. It is Michael Armstrong. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Long last, you've made it in here.
I have, yes. Didn't quite take me 25 years to get here, but not far off. Yeah.
Well, you had Captain Peter directing you. What do you expect?
Well, yeah, I know. I've heard all about him, you know.
And I was just saying they'll probably end up somewhere on the Spanish border, but we'll go and get him back. But never mind. He's all right in a boat, by the way.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, he's better in a boat than he is in a car. I have to assure you that. Now, when I was saying not exactly an overnight success, I think like a lot of us join this godforsaken business, we start at a very early age. How young were you when you got a liking for this?
Oh, goodness. I guess probably at 8 or 9 years old, I think I kind of really fell in love with music and found that it spoke to me in a way that nothing else did. And it was the Beatles, I think, as many people's first band were, although I'm a long split up by the time I was born. But my parents had the Red and Blue cassette album in their car, greatest hits, and my brother and I would sing along and try and harmonise, and my dad would tell us which Beatle was singing, and I now know he was completely wrong. He had no idea. Yeah. But that's a really early memory, and I wanted to play an instrument and write my own songs almost straight away, because I found it was a great way of expressing myself.
When did you start writing then?
You know, I started out as a drummer, actually. I think any young kid wants to hit drums, yeah? Although I've tried to discourage my children.
As you see, look.
Yes, I see, yeah. I soon found that playing the drums is not an easy thing to write songs on. They all sound the same.
Yeah, and you can't do too many solos for too long. It does get boring, doesn't it? Yeah.
So I took guitar lessons, and I think within, as soon as I could form a few chords, I was writing songs. And that was at, I guess, age 12 then, and then I kind of taught myself to play the piano.
Well, in the rock era, if you've got 3 chords...
Well, that's what you need. That's
you can make a living.
Absolutely, yeah.
I won't mention any names, but some certain friends of mine are still getting away with it.
Some of the best songs are 3 chords.
So, you started on drums. Were you encouraged by your family?
Even on the drums I was, yes, surprisingly, yeah. They've always been very, very encouraging. My parents, they're not musical at all themselves, but loved music. My dad Sunday afternoons would always listen to the top 40 countdown, or during the day over lunch he'd pop one of his albums on. He had some good music. He liked Steely Dan, who I love, and Neil Diamond, and even went as far as Led Zeppelin, which he only played when my mum was out.
Yeah, a bit too loud for mum, was it? Yeah. So you weren't told, like a lot of us, go and get yourself a proper job and stop making that noise?
Well, not first of all, no. I mean, my dad was really encouraged. For birthdays and things, he'd buy me, I got into recording at an early age, always recording my own songs. So for birthdays and Christmas, my dad would love to get me the latest gadget, a new 4-track machine or a compressor or something like that. He was as much into watching me do it, which was really, really nice. But I think when I got to 18 or 19 years old and I'd finished schooling, my dad was then, okay, well, you can't laze around writing songs all day, which is what I was doing, and he ran a family business, ran a building company in London. So I went there to work with him and ended up doing it for far longer than I wanted to.
Yes, and then, of course, I think you suffered like a lot of us who had businesses in the UK at that time that I know you were heading the family construction business. Things started to take a bit of a downturn. The building industry was hit pretty hard,
Yeah.
I think you had a bit of illness in the family as well, too.
Yeah, my dad had a really bad heart attack, who I'd worked with for 10, 15 years, and we were really successful. We had a really successful building company. And he was kind of... He'd had enough of it by then, and I think he was looking at retirement, and then the heart attack kind of ruled out doing anything else. And I was left with a choice of whether I wanted to carry it on, and as you say, there was very little of it left. You know, the work had really dried up, and or it didn't happen overnight. It was kind of organic. I met Lisa Davis, who
knows her way around this business just a little bit, yeah.
Exactly. And she really loved my songs. And as I say, in the building industry was going, my dad got ill, so these things kind of happened over the course of a year, and I was given an opportunity, and I took it with both hands.
Yes, and of course you not only play drums, you play guitar and you play piano as well. And of course you've been doing an awful lot of work with the radios. Your first release, I do believe, was an EP, wasn't it? When was that?
That was 2012, I think, wasn't it? Yeah. We recorded an EP to test the water, to see if we thought maybe I was as good as we thought. I was actually never entirely happy with the recording of the EP, so which is why I actually re-recorded two of the songs in it for the album that we did eventually. But no, we got a good reaction, which is what led to the album.
And for the most part, then, it's taken you a couple of years to do your debut album that's simply called Michael Armstrong.
Yeah, it's original, that, isn't it? It took me a long time to think of it.
I bet you spent a lot of time thinking, what should we call this album? Well, I tell you what, I'm going to play a track of music from that album, and ironically, when I knew you were going to come on and guest on this show, I'd already chosen 3 tracks that I wanted to play, and then I thought I'd better extend to you the courtesy of asking you which ones you would like, and guess what?
You chose the same.
They were exactly the same.
Wow.
And as I've been on this radio for donkey's years, you've got a track on this album that's called The Radio Years. And I tell you what, guys, it feels a little bit like this.
Well, I try hard to remember, but where do I begin? It's something deep inside you, it's underneath the skin.
Solid Gold Sunday with O&G.
Yes, and right now we're speaking to our very special studio guest. He is Michael Armstrong, but on the line I have somebody who wants to talk to you. I wonder who it could be. Good morning.
Hi, it's Bonnie Tyler.
Hello, Bonnie, how are you?
Hi. Oh my God, you know that song Radio Years is fabulous.
Oh, thank you very, very much.
Lyrics.
Oh, thank you so much. It's very kind. You're more than welcome to cover it anytime you like.
Is Lisa with you?
She is, yes.
Hi, Bonnie.
No, she must give me a ring later.
Will do. Give me a call afterwards.
It's great to see you doing so well. Fantastic.
That's very kind. And how's Matt Pryor, my good friend?
Oh, wonderful.
Is he keeping
I
those?
did a gig in Switzerland a couple of days ago.
Great.
And he was bang on it.
Marvellous.
Fabulous.
Bonnie's guitar player, Matt, also played lots of the guitar on my album. He's been a friend of mine for many, many years.
Yes, she did tell me. Yeah. And this is how we fix this up. Okay. But you're not going to tell him to be frightened of me, Bonnie, are you?
No, darling, there's no need. Anyway, how are you, Owen?
Yeah, I'm all right. When are you coming back in again, by the way?
Well, not this week.
No, we're a bit crowded out at the moment, even though Peter's lost weight.
And he's done well, hasn't he, with his weight loss?
Yes.
Anyway, I won't keep you now. I just wanted to have a word and say how wonderful the Radio Years is. Fabulous.
That's very kind. Thanks, Bonnie. I really appreciate it.
All the best.
Lots of love to you and Robert.
I'll tell you what, Bonnie, before you go, I really, really wanted Michael on this show because what a pleasure it is to listen to music that has a story. Yeah. It's got good lyrics. You can understand every word, and every single track's got a good melody.
Lyrics are amazing, yeah.
And I think the man's got it.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yes, he probably had it when he was 19, but it's a shame he left it so long. We missed out.
Well, there you go. But he's doing all right now. Better late than never, Bonnie, eh?
he's not very old now anyway.
He's only a young man compared to somebody like me. Now, I told you not to talk ages in front of me. So you can get off the phone right now and I'll see you during the week. Thank you.
We'll have to catch up for a lunch one day.
Yeah, I'm all up for that, you know. That I'm very busy during the week. Choose any day you like.
Oh, I got all the family arrived late last night.
Oh, well, once you've got rid of a few guests, we'll have a quiet moment.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye,
Bonnie.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bonnie, for taking the time to call in this morning.
Oh.
Enjoy your weekend and your visitors.
Oh, I will, yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Well, that was rather nice of Bonnie Tyler at the
beautiful,
phone.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, you were talking about her guitarist that's worked with you. Now, your first album, you had a co-producer that's pretty good at what he does, who's produced for Elton, Cliff, the Ramones, and lately 10cc.
Yeah, Keith Bessie. Just a guy who's amazing at what he does, and that came through the EP that we spoke about earlier on. I was lucky enough to meet him through working with Cliff, and he said to me, send us the EP along when it's ready, and I did, and he called up and agreed that it wasn't quite right. And he suggested a few changes, and he kind of did a remix for me, and then said he really wanted to work an album with me. So that's where it all came about. So very, very lucky.
So he really did the finishing production on the album I'm using this morning.
Yeah, he mixed it and co-produced it with me. I mean, 80% of it was recorded in my garage at home, just me playing everything, and then we got a few other players to come in and change bits, and then he kind of got that final sound. He's amazing. Yeah, very pleased with it.
Now, I don't know if you'll agree with me, because during the week I've been listening to the music, you know, sections from it. I'm going to play a track now called The Innocence of Men, which I think is a bit of tongue-in-cheek, but is there a little bit of an Eagles influence there?
Very much so, yeah. I name-dropping here, but I worked with Glenn Fry in 2012 as well. And the Eagles were given a hard time for being giving a hard time to women in their songs, Lying Eyes and Tequila Sunrise, Busy Being Fabulous, and I kind of wrote this song very much with the Eagles in mind, and it's tongue-in-cheek. It's about a guy who's clearly a serial adulterer, but is can't understand why his wife doesn't trust him.
Shame on him. Well, I'll tell you what I've got to do. Before we do that, being told I must put out a word from our sponsors for this hour. So let's do that, and then we'll come back to The Innocence of Men with Michael Armstrong.
Memories are played on Kiss.
Kiss FM. Solid Gold Sunday with O&G.
And this morning in the studio, we are blessed and honoured to have Michael Armstrong as our special guest, who's recently released his very first debut album that we've been playing tracks from, called Michael Armstrong. Now, of course, we said he wasn't exactly an overnight success. He started his love of music at about 7 or 8 years old, starting writing at 13, and then he went from being a builder to going to rather a big house and meeting a few celebs. Tell us about that.
Oh, you must be referring to my time at Buckingham Palace.
Exactly. When you went to Buck House.
I went to Buck House. That was actually at the Queen's Jubilee concert, again in 2012. It was a good year for me, that one. And I was actually working there with Cliff. Cliff was appearing at the Queen's Jubilee concert, and I was helping out. And I got to. I mean, it was incredible backstage, because it was like Cliff's dressing room, and all the other stars, all the dressing rooms were just in a line inside this huge tent. So like Paul McCartney was in the dressing room next door, and Elton John the other side, and Shirley Bassey and Robbie Williams and Gary Barlow. Just everyone was just wandering around. But I'd said to my family and friends in the lead up to the concert, I mean, obviously I've already said that the Beatles were my heroes, and so to meet Paul McCartney and hang out with him was incredible. And I'd said to my friends that if there was any way I could get on stage with him for the finale, then I was going to, and this was clearly a joke. But when the time came, I thought, well, I'm not going to get this opportunity again. And so McCartney ended the whole celebration with the Beatles song Obla Di Obla Da. And as he went into the track, all the stars who'd appeared during the day on the concert came onto the stage one by one to join him. So McCartney starts Obla Di Obla Da, and I'm backstage, and one by one from each side of the stage walks on Cliff Richard, Tom Jones, Elton John, Gary Barlow, Kylie Minogue. And I'm standing there thinking, I can't walk out now, I'm going to get spotted. And until the very, very last people onto the stage were the military wives. And there's about 30 of them, all dressed in black. And I had a black suit on, so I thought, well, it's now or never. So I joined the military wives. And I walked out onto stage and I sang Obla Di Obla Da, not just with my hero, Paul McCartney, but with just about every other star in the music business, which was absolutely fantastic until the song ended. And then I thought, oh dear, how am I going to get off the stage of Buckingham Palace of 1 billion people watching on television? And while I'm contemplating this, I'm asked to line up, and onto the stage was brought Her Majesty the Queen, and I was introduced to her as one of the military wives.
But you didn't think about having a sex change for the purpose, no?
No. It would have been worth it, though. It was a great day.
But would you not say, though, that meeting all these stars, and we've interviewed our fair share on this show, that when they've really made it big, they're really nice people. The egos have gone.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we talk about Cliff and Paul McCartney, two of the biggest stars to ever come from the UK, and two of the nicest people you could ever wish to meet. Fantastic people.
Well, Cliff comes in here regularly, and he always says the same thing. He comes bounding in with a great big smile. So he goes, what are we going to do? I said, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. You're going to sit there, and I'm going to sit here. I'm going to play some music. I'm going to ask you some questions, and you're going to answer them.
Yeah.
How about that for a deal? That sounds fair enough.
Brilliant. The consummate professional.
And it just flows, and we have so much fun.
Yeah.
Same with Bonnie. She's so easy to deal with, you know? And all these people are the same. I've had one or two are a bit difficult.
Right, okay.
And it's like pulling
Tell me
teeth.
off
air. You start pulling teeth. Now, talking about mixing with the greats, we now know that Keith Bessie was your co-producer on this album. But you also had some pretty darn good backing musicians, didn't you?
I did, yes. On the track you just played, The Innocents of Men, the guitar, as well as Bonnie's guitar player, Matt, the other guitar player on that track is Albert Lee, who's, one of the best ever. Not a bad for a debut album. And also Elliot Randall from Steely Dan. I mentioned Steely Dan at the start of the interview, one of my dad's favourite bands, and I've followed in that tradition. And so I met him completely by chance and played him something, and he said, yeah, I'd love to be a part of it, and ended up playing on 4 songs on the album.
And did you have Phil Palmer on there as well?
Phil Palmer's on there as well. He played on the Radio Years on the first track you played. Yes, beautiful guitar. And of course backing singing by Peter Howarth, who I've been touring with, and was a long time backing singer with Cliff. And actually, I'll let you into a little bit of exclusive news. I've actually started recording the second album, and it has another Cliff connection, because my co-producer on the second album is Warren Bennett, who is of course Brian's son.
Yes.
And we're really excited. We've got 4 or 5 tracks under our belt, and it's sounding really good.
I have every reason to believe that Brian himself might be listening this morning, because of course he's got a home here.
Absolutely. Well, good morning, Brian.
Yeah, well, I hope he's listening, and at least Warren, your son's had a bit of a plug.
Yeah.
Keep it in our family.
Yeah.
Well, before I play, I'm being told I've got to do a little word from our sponsors of this hour. I'm going to do this, and we will come back with some more music from Michael Armstrong.
Solid Gold Sunday. Kiss FM.
Now, Michael, just before I play this third track of yours from the album simply called Michael Armstrong, and everybody's got to rush out and buy one or get onto Amazon and order it, I have to tell you that this track you agreed I should play is going to please my wife Val, because she listened to the album and this was her favourite track, and you know which one it is now. What's it called?
It's Allentown.
Here are, Val, this is for you.
Well, we're living here in Allentown, and they're closing all the factories down.
Allentown from the album Michael Armstrong. Now, you mentioned briefly that you're having a little break here in the Algarve with Lisa and travelling round. Would you like to do a few gigs here in the near future? Well, looking at your diary, I think you'd be available in about 2017.
I'd love to come and play over here. Yeah, I mean that's one of the things we are looking at while we're here. So anyone interested listening, just give me a call.
Yeah, we know where to find you, and they know where to find me. Now, your next consignment of late nights starts on 1st of June, does it not? When you're with Peter Howarth.
Yes, I'm doing a kind of mini tour with Peter. It's the 4th year we've done it actually, which probably makes me the oldest and longest serving special guest on a show. But it's good fun, and yeah, it's a UK tour. I think we're doing 10 or 12 dates across the first couple of weeks of June, and I think I then get a day off, and then I'm going out again with the American singer-songwriter Dean Friedman.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all go.
I tried to find his music. Would you believe I've only got it on a single?
Really?
On a vinyl.
On a vinyl single,
yes. I forget what it's called now. Hang on, my brain's gone dead.
Lydia, is it? Lucky Stars?
Yeah, Lucky Stars. Thank you, Lucky Stars. That's the one, yeah. And, yeah, I used to play that all the time in the early years.
Right.
Now, Peter Howarth, in his own right, I actually made a bit of a mistake. I'm typing the thing, and he's putting front man. I put former, and he came on to me, and he said, I thought I was still with him.
I saw that,
yeah. It was a bit of a typo. I was interrupted while I was doing it. But all humble apologies to you, Peter, because you're very much with the Hollies. But Cliff himself actually said, as a backing vocalist, he is the best. As a solo artist, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
And, of course, the tour you do, it's all unplugged, isn't it? It's all acoustic.
It is all unplugged acoustic. Yeah, I kind of start the show doing about 45 minutes of my own stuff, and Peter joins me for a couple of those. And then Peter does his kind of collection of some Cliff songs that he worked on, the Hollies stuff, obviously, and he played Roy Orbison in the West End for about 4 years.
Yes, he did. Yes.
So he plays some great Roy songs, and I join him backing vocals. I play some keyboards for him, and we do a couple of duets on guitar. It's a great show, and he's not only an amazing singer, he's an incredible guitar player as well. Which something that most people don't. He doesn't get to show that off too much with the Hollies, but an amazing guitar player. And
to actually cover Roy Orbison songs, there's so many key changes he has in there, isn't there?
Yeah,
and he does it.
He does do it. I mean, that's got to be one of the toughest jobs to be put before you go and play Roy Orbison in the West End. I mean, that's daunting, isn't it? You know, I mean, God, one of the greatest singers of all time.
Talking about daunting, the tour you've just finished that ended at the end of April, did it not, in Cardiff with T'Pau?
Yes.
Carol Decker and T'Pau.
Yeah.
So many nights you had there, and all over the country too.
All over the country. Started at the end of the 3rd week of January, and as you say, finished at the end of April, so it was extended, that's for sure. That was great fun as well, because T'Pau, perhaps for my sins, were the first live band I ever saw. I had a real crush on Carol Decker as a 13-year-old boy. My mum and dad took me to see them at the Hammersmith Odeon, it was then. I say I was about 13, I think, 13, 14. And yeah, she had quite an effect on me, let me tell you. And so to finally come full circle, and to be actually, not only was I a bit like the special guest support act, I also joined the band for the tour as well. She said, well, while you're here, you might as well help out. So I played I went back to playing the drums. I haven't done it since I was 13. I ended up playing percussion and doing backing vocals for them. So it was brilliant. I absolutely loved it.
And of course, you're happily married now. I do believe you've got 3 young lads.
I do, yes, yep.
And is your wife a redhead?
No, she's not. No.
Oh, you went off the redheads.
Yeah, no, my mistress is. Oh,
no. And, of course, you are then going to do... You also appearing with Leo Sayer?
I did Leo Sayer last year. That was before the T'Pau tour. I went out with Leo September and October last year, which is the biggest tour I've ever done, and played at some fabulous places and got to meet some great people.
I think it was really nice of Leo Sayer to introduce the Man U player. Filiani is his name, to his hairdresser. Did you watch the FA Cup last night? Yeah. I'm sure he goes to the same hairdresser as Leo. Yeah. Looked like he was wearing a Busby.
Yeah.
Well, I want to wish you every success with all these exhausting tours you're about to set out on, and so pleased that you've come in while you're supposedly taking a break. And you know, if you start collapsing, I feel sure Peter Howarth will probably pick you up and say, don't worry, he's not exactly heavy, he's like my brother. Backtrack into the year 1969 with the Hollies. Now their frontman, lead vocalist, lead guitarist is Peter Howarth, and he will be starting an acoustic tour with our studio guest Michael Armstrong. It kicks off on the 1st of June at the Epsom Playhouse, does it not?
It does indeed, yes.
So see, squawking away here. Yes, and then, of course, we need to ask everybody to dash out and buy this debut album of yours. You've already confessed you're working on the second one, so let's get the first one sold.
That would be nice, yeah.
And they can do that, and you can check all Michael Armstrong's tour dates, his solo appearances. I see you're going abroad as well. You're going to the Isle of Wight.
Yes, I am, yes. I hope it's as sunny there as it is here.
Well, I can't help but say this, because I notice in August you're going there for the 2 days. It's the Garlic Festival. So you're not really going there for a breath of fresh air, are you?
Dear me.
Oh, check all this out on www.michaelarmstrongmusic.co.uk. Sorry, I've made him burst into fits of laughter now, and that's not the idea. But I've got to actually say something. That, am I right in thinking that you are very happy to come into Portugal's Kiss FM, but you're one of the few people that turned down Simon Cowell?
Oh, well, that's, yes, it's, yeah, what can I say to that one? I don't want to be hard on things like the X Factor and Britain's Got Talent, and certainly not the contestants, because some of them are absolutely fantastic singers, and it's a great way to be immediately successful, but I don't think it's a good way to build a career. Certainly not for the vast majority of them. And yeah, I've been asked to do. Been talent scouted, if you like, asked to do X Factor and Britain's Got Talent, and I've said no. I don't think I'll win it. Actually, I don't think I'm not naturally I haven't got that kind of voice that would go ahead and win it. As you said at the start, I'm kind of a storyteller, a songwriter. I think if it was down to things like Britain's Got Talent and the X Factor, we wouldn't have Bob Dylan, we wouldn't have Paul Simon, you wouldn't have Tom Waits, and I think the world would be a pretty sad place if that was the case.
All the great songwriters who turn performers, and that ain't a bad way to start. Well, thank you so much for giving up a little bit of time. I hope you're going to hang on with us for just a little while, and we'll have a little chat off air very shortly. But a reminder to everybody, please go and buy the Michael Armstrong debut album. You can get it on Amazon, but if in doubt, check out www.michaelarmstrongmusic.co.uk, because the guy is now going back to work.
Kiss FM.